there was ever going to be a contender for best magazine cover ever, it's got to be this. So this is Retro Gamer Subscriber Edition, and this is the first edition of 2023. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you, I am not subscribed to this magazine, nor am I subscribed to any magazines. I have an extensive collection of Zero magazines and a couple of Amiga formats, which I do collect now and then when I come across them, but you know, I don't actively sort of search for them. Now, I'm not going to lie, I've got this off eBay. I've seen that cover and I thought, you know what, I've got to have this magazine. It is just one of my favourite franchises of all time, Shadow of the Beast. And just look at that cover, absolutely amazing. So, I thought this magazine and the sort of spread that's inside it, because it's the history of Shadow of the Beast, it deserves a video. So in today's video, we're going to have a quick look through the magazine, but it's going to be mainly focused on Shadow of the Beast. So let's get into it. So anyway, just before we get into the video, my first memory of Shadow of the Beast was seeing it in Amiga format of 1989. And I do remember opening this magazine and going, that cannot be true. It was boasting all these things like a multi-layered parallax scrolling, atmospheric soundtrack, and the graphics were absolutely amazing. So at the time I had an Atari ST, and shortly after I did get Shadow of the Beast when it came out, and then shortly after that a mate who bought an Amiga 500 showed me how it ran on his system, and I'm not going to lie, the Atari ST sound compared to the Amiga was absolute dog shit. And I remember being embarrassed, going, this is what it looks like on mine. He come to my house and I said, this is how it runs and looks on mine. And it was so smooth on the Amiga, it was a bit jittery on the ST. The sound was, it was awful, that's not going to lie. The Amiga soundtrack was just phenomenal. So yeah, and then shortly after, disbanded the ST and I become an Amiga, or Amican, or whatever you call them nowadays. But yeah, Amiga fanboy. And I am to this day at the age of 46 this year. So anyway, without further ado, let's get into this video. Righty ho. So what you see in front of you is it's the end. When you die on Shadow of the Beast 2, you're presented with this screen with some absolutely phenomenal music, some guitar music, sampled guitar music from a very famous TV show, but we'll get into that later on. Alright, so what we have here is the Evercade advertisement, and you've got who's who in the magazine and who does what. And what you can see here is the non-subscriber edition of Retro Gamer. That's obviously the subscriber edition. So we'll just have a quick flick through it. Basically, we've got contents of the magazine, the evolution of Shadow of the Beast. We've got a bit on Archie McLean as well, who sadly died at the age of 60. It was in December, I think he died. Famous for Jimmy White's Archie McLean's Pool, IK Plus and stuff like that. Very sad loss to the industry. Very talented man. Some more advertisements here. One for the Xbox 360. We've got some sort of column here. I've got another. What have we got here? Another advertisement. Mao Games. Indie developer Matt Steffson has a passion for spotting monolithic human figures in video games. That looks weird, doesn't it? Space Harrier there. So what we've got is back to the noughties, the latest news from May 2006. So I'm assuming that was what was going on in 2006. We have charts. So FIFA Street was top, Buzz, 24 the game, Black, and then Driver Parallel Lines, DS, Labrador and Friends, Mario Kart DS, Sonic Rush, Nintendo Deutschland and Friends, or Deutschland, Dachshund and Friends, and Super Monkey Ball on the PSP, FIFA Street, Lemmings, Grand Theft Auto, Liberty City Stories. That was friggin' amazing on the PSP. Pro Evo Soccer 5, Street Fighter 3, music was Crazy by Niles Barkley, No Promises, Shane Ward. One, Mary J. Blige. No Tomorrow by Orson and SOS Rihanna. So yeah, that was what was going on in 2006. Bat and ball. A little spread there on the BBC Micro. Right, games that defined the Amiga. So today's video, it's not about this spread, but I'm just going to briefly gloss over it. Like, you know, you've got games like Pang, Stunt Car Racer, Turrican 2 Final Fight, Sensible Soccer, Settlers, Lotus Esprit, that's the first one, Frontier Elite 2, Alien Breed, Secrets of Monkey Island, Cannon Fodder, Syndicate, Speedball 2, Hunter. Hunter is definitely up there in my opinion. Another World as well is definitely up there in my opinion. Worms, I'm going to be honest with you, I've never really played it, but I know people rave about it and stuff like that, but it's never appealed to me. I don't know why. Xenon 2 Mega Blast, yes, indeed, with that bloody soundtrack as well. That is amazing. It Came from the Desert, Lemmings, Zool, Pinball Dreams. Oh, wowzer. I've just done a video on Dice and Digital Illusions. By all means, I'll link it in the description and go and watch that. The history of Dice, Digital Illusions and how it came to be from Pinball Dreams area to now Battlefield as we see on modern consoles. Shadow the Beast, definitely. Batman, it was a good game, don't get me wrong. The Batman pack, yes, it was very popular, which I have on the shelf up here, but in terms of the Batman game, I wouldn't say it defined the Amiga. Don't know why, just, you know. Right, so what we've got is subscribe today, all the different sort of previous thingos. You can also get it digitally as well. Now, when I say I'm not subscribed to this magazine, it's not against the magazine. As I say, it's just, I don't collect any of the magazines other than Zero and the odd Amiga format, which I've got certain sort of memories over. If I was subscribed to quite a lot of magazines, some months, I just don't really find them interesting. I don't really want to read them, but when things like this pop up, very interesting. And I could have just went to shop and I could have just bought that in WH Smith, but you know what, I wanted that cover, so I did a search on eBay, and there was one available on eBay, and I just got it, and you know, rest is history sort of thing. So yeah. Right, so we finally reached the Shadow of the Beast spread. Now it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10 pages long. So basically you go from the start, from the first one right up to the first one that ended up on the PS4 quite a few years ago, which was absolutely, yeah, I love that one actually. Now I'm not going to read everything, because who wants to sit here and watch me or listen to me read a bloody magazine? I'm just going to read a few various sort of, you know, pick a few things out, show you the actual spread, because it's quite a bloody good spread, and I love the way retro games do things like this. They put the characters in and stuff like that. I just find it really good, like really good quality. So we're going to kick off and we're going to just read what's on the top. The striking sight and sounds of Shadow the Beast pushed the Amiga further than ever most developers had known was possible in 1989. From sequels and conversations to a PlayStation remake 3 decades on, those involved explain all. Words by Graham Pembry. So I'm just going to read a little bit of the start and I'll just show you around the first two sort of thingos. So the impact of the original Shadow the Beast is perhaps best described through the lens of someone who experienced the game as a player. So it was 1989 and 16-year-old Matt Birch was visiting a friend for a sleepover when a relative lent the pair a new Amiga 500. Staying up late in a warm glow of Commodore monitor light, they played through disc after disc of what Matt recalls being fun but ultimately forgettable games. But then around midnight we tried Shadow of the Beast. It was a revelation. The music and graphics, the gradient sky and parallax scrolling, it was magical. Like seeing Star Wars for the first time. So that is sort of sums up what I was trying to say in the intro. It was just that, it was just at the time it was groundbreaking. It was, you know, something totally different. So bleary-eyed in the morning, I got the bus and went home, and all I could think about was this strange world I had visited. 27 years later, working as the head of his own studio, Matt would see the remake of the game published by Sony for the PlayStation 4, which, yeah, it was a really good remake, that. It was the latest entry in a series that particularly memorable for now and how far it pushed the Amiga, but which also spawned sequels and conversions spanning several generations of computers and consoles. So basically, I'm not going to say I'm going to read it all, but it just goes on to say this guy experienced, I think, what we all experienced at the time. It was new. It was just completely, took everyone by surprise. So what we've got is we've got the loading screen for Shadow of the Beast 1 there. We've got the beast itself, and then some gameplay sort of pictures, and we've got a couple of people down the bottom. Martin Edmondson, designer of Shadow of the Beast and its sequels. John White managed the development of the first 2 games as a Psygnosis producer. Steve Hammond created graphics for the Commodore 64 conversion of Shadow of the Beast 1, and as CEO of Heavy Spectrum, Matt Birch revived the series. Well, yeah, so that's this guy you were talking about. Now we move on to the 4 Shadow of the Beasts here. So we've got Shadow of the Beast 1. If I can just get the magazine sort of straight. Right, so what we've got is all 4 Shadow of the Beasts and a little sort of stages of evolution description. So the first one, Shadow of the Beast, tailor-made to max out the Amiga. Shadow of the Beast was a feast of the senses. From its multi-layered parallax scrolling to the atmospheric soundtrack. Conversions spanned across 9 systems, from the previous gen ZX Spectrum to the next gen Mega Drive and handheld Atari Lynx. Right, so moving on to Shadow of the Beast 2. So as you can see there, I'm probably not going to read it all actually, introducing NPCs, inventory items, and it says all these additions meant graphical compromises were necessary, and for some the difficulty was dialed up a notch too far, which I thought, in all honesty, Shadow of the Beast 2 was bloody solid. Right, so moving on to Shadow of the Beast 3, hitting a sweet spot between technical swagger and accessible gameplay, the final game of the initial trilogy holds up well. 4 carefully crafted levels replace the continuous world of the first 2 games, while beast slaying, battling is balanced out in inventive puzzles. And then we've got the remake of Shadow of the Beast. So nearly 3 decades after the series began, the PlayStation 4 faithfully nods the original trilogy while weaving in cinematic cutscenes and new concepts, including Bayonetta-influenced combo-driven fighting, which, yeah, that was quite good. So there's a lot for fans of the original series to appreciate. And then a little thing from Martin Edmondson there. But yeah, that was that remake was brilliant. I just actually got a PS4 just for that game. I've since sold it and sort of put the money to something else. So anyway, yeah, so that was a look at. Did we go further on into the thing, or did we go? Oh yeah, we carry on to the next page. Right, so turn the page as Metallica told us to, and Bob Seger. So stages of evolution. So soundtracking the beast. Tim Wright. Now I do believe Tim Wright is a local man to me. When I say local, northwest of England. I might be wrong. I don't know. I think he's the Wirral. I don't know. So basically, Tim Wright on scoring the sequels. Right, so here's a little bit on Tim Wright. So, how did you approach composing music for Shadow of the Beast 2? Martin Edmondson was very specific about what he wanted, even down to which presets David Whittaker and used on a Korg M1 synthesizer for the first game. I noticed his main theme had been influenced by Metallic Rain by Vangelis. I was keen to steer clear of this influence, but to take on the vibe of the music. After hearing the first 2 pieces, Martin seemed to relax. So how did the game... so this is the one, yeah. So how did the game over guitar solo happen? So, yeah, there was rumour years ago, and I wasn't quite sure on it, but it was from Miami Vice. So it says here, Martin sent me a cassette and said, Tim, find a good guitarist and copy this song. I assume because he'd been in a band, it was something that he had composed. I copied it as closely as I could with my guitarist friend Steve Nuttall. Years later, the internet would point out that I had in fact copied some short incidental music from the TV show Miami Vice. And what a friggin' tune that is at the end of that game. So how did Shadow of the Beast 3 differ? Martin seemed confident I could be given free rein. I had not long finished composing a piano theme for Agony, which, oh my god, you know what? That is a beautiful piece of music, and wow, I've got it on remixes from Amiga Remix. I've got various thingos of it, and it is absolutely amazing. And this is coming from someone. I used to play piano back in the day when I was a kid. Not for very long, but I can play a few songs like, you know, Still Diary. I can play Bohemian Rhapsody, stuff like that, but nowhere near as talented as this man. So anyway, yes, I was saying piano theme for Agony. So I was keen to do something similar, but with additional instrumentation. So either use samples from Psygnosis games I composed, such as Leander and Carthage. I invested time in the outro and game over themes. The latter has since been remixed by me and others. So, and there's a look at the guy there. Very, very talented man. Very talented man. Right, so moving on from that, we're still on Shadow of the Beast 1. And basically, we just got some more screenshots of the gameplay and stuff like that. I think this was the easiest one I played. 2 and 3, which I found very, very hard. And I'm going to put it out there now, even to this day, as a 46-year-old man. Years and years I've been back into the Commodore Amiga, and you're talking like 10 years now. And I do play this game quite a lot. I've never completed any of them. I just find them too bloody hard. Righty ho, so moving on. Shadow of the Beast 2. It's phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal. Pretty simple game. Side-scrolling, 2D side-scroller. But it was the puzzles. It was the puzzles that just... Oh, they just done my head in. It was just like, they were just too bloody hard. And there's a certain one on Shadow of the Beast 2 where I think you drop down to some hole, and there was like a beast in a cage, and you flick the switch, and if you didn't flick it right, you were stuck in the game. You could not get out that level or that part of the game. You had to escape it, or I think it was after, whatever it was, to die and restart the game. It wasn't a glitch, it was just the way it had to be done, and I could never ever do it. Never do it. But graphically amazing, and the main sort of the theme tune of the game, the intro to that game was just, I say still to this day, as a 46-year-old, it still gives you bloody chills down your spine and makes the hair stand up and end on you know, when you're necking that. It's just one of those things at the time that just took you by surprise. Like, anyway, I'll stop waffling about me, about my childhood. Righty ho. So again, I'm going to try and get close up. So we've got the intro to Shadow of the Beast 2, which still, as I say, yeah, absolutely amazing. So stages of evolution from platforms to puzzles. And these puzzles, I don't know what come out these people's heads when they were thinking of them, but bloody hell, they were, oh wow. And at the time, there was no such thing as YouTube, as we all know. We had maybe this little sort of number we phoned, and it was like £1, £2 a minute, and they didn't tell you how to do it, but they hinted on how to do it and stuff like that. And it was all sort of playground talk. I know how to do this, I know how to do that, I've done that, I've done that. Today, you just sit in your room, in your house, in wherever you want to sit, in jail even, and you can Google it, and it'll talk you through it, and it'll show you whatever. So yeah, so one level of Shadow of the Beast 3 requires you to solve a giant slide puzzle. Now I'm going to put it out there. Never seen it because I never got that far. And so basically, before commandeering a robot crane to transport killer fish between tanks, you can also wade through at another point. You'll need to sneak in the castle by hiding in a barrel, so which is carried along a conveyor belt onto the arms of an ogre. Just even thinking about it now, it's just like, wow. I mean, I'm going to start playing it after I've done this video, just to think, but puzzles like these are just as central as 4 levels of the game as the platforming and fighting, Martin says. His desire was to shift away from the fairly simple action of the original game towards the more interesting scenarios, was influenced by his early game design ventures. Pardon me. The first game I made on the BBC Micro, Ravenskull. It was an open world 4-way scroller. I was a fan of text adventures in the early days before graphics were really a thing. Text adventure games, yeah, that's another good thing. I'll get onto them at a later date. And we just basically say, you know, the ability to go back through previous explored areas gave the player a sense of recognition of past achievements. But really, it allowed more complex puzzles. sometimes you could only solve half the puzzle and you'd have to go off and find further clues. So yeah, that is correctamundo there. Have we got another one at the back of this, or is it 3? We're still on, oh no, we're on 3. Right, so moving on to Shadow of the Beast 3. And again, this game, I've never completed it, and I think I found it harder than 2. It was just some of the puzzles, like, just the first, I can't remember what whale that is, but it's, you had to ram that to that wall, you had to put some meat down for the thing, and then it killed it, and then after that, it was just game over for me. So I'm just going to read the sort of column at the side here. So, stages of evolution, evolving, now I can't really say this properly, Arboron, if that's how you say it. So tracing the story of our shape-shifting hero. So we've got the character basically evolving from the first game up until Shadow of the Beast remake on the PS4. So after being kidnapped as a child, I'll just get this a bit closer actually, sorry. There we go. So after being kidnapped as a child and turned into a monstrous servant, Arboron sets out to seek his revenge on the Beast Lord Maeltoth. Fist is his main form of defence, but in later sections of the game, a gun and jetpack help too. Right, so in the second one, his weapon of choice was a ball and chain. So with the curse partly lifted, Shadow Beast 2 sees a half-human, somewhat dishevelled Arboron on a mission to find his kidnapped sister. A ball and chain extend his attacking reach and his throwing axes scattered around the world. And in 3, we have the Boomerang Kid. So Shadow of the Beast 3 sees Arboron return fully human form with a neat hat and sharp and modern look. This time our hero comes equipped with a boomerang shuriken and reaches for enough make beast slaying an easy experience. Moving on to Shadow of the Beast, I suppose you want to call it 4, Shadow of the Beast 1 remake, yeah. Reimagining Arboron's original journey at the PS4, Shadow of the Beast gives our hero deadly claws and a Wolverine sort of makes Wolverine proud. With shuriken, spears, a gun, and a complex array of throws and combos to draw on. This time he's ready for anything. That was the first game out of all of that done those sorts of combos like. And then we've got some graphics here from the game. Again, I mean, whoever designed that, or whoever designed any graphics for the 4 game or the 3 games, what went through their head when they were designing stuff like that? Where did that come from? Where did the design from any of these things come from? It's just, it's mind-boggling how people's sort of minds work nowadays. Right, so the 4th and final instalment of the Beast series sees us on the PS4, Sony PlayStation 4. Again, absolutely amazing graphics. What was just phenomenal graphics. And I'm gonna put it out there, and some may disagree, that yeah, the best graphics of all of the Beast games. I'm not gonna lie, it was just, you know, we've got the hardware nowadays to do such a thing. Back then we pushed things to the limit what we had, and we sort of, that was all we had at the time, and you know, no one's going to take that away. But we're moving on to HD gameplay and what we could do with processing power and all that kind of stuff. Graphical power brings us to PlayStation 4. Well, as you can see there, some nice sort of screenshots, and again, I'm not going to read all of it, but it's just the little sort of column at the sort of end. So basically this column tells you about the bosses and stuff like that, the evolution of the beastly bosses, standout battles from across the series. So the whole hog, after struggling through the underground area of Shadow of the Beast, a humongous fire-breathing pig boss is just what you need. You'll need to come armed with a power punch power-up, then sneaking punches to the snout, avoiding spikes rising unpredictably from below. Moving on to the sea monster surprise. Rearing its grotesque head from the murky depths just as you hop between a few rocks, this aquatic aggressor from Shadow of the Beast 2 can easily catch you off guard. No time to hesitate, some speedy, relentless ball and chaining to the face is in order. The Headless Horror, I think that's probably the furthest I got on one of the levels. So after thoughtfully making your way through a puzzle-heavy second level of Shadow of the Beast 3, facing up the bloodied headless statue comes a bit of a shock. Some nibble ducking and jumping around this spike ball and chain should do the trick. So moving on to Shadow of the Beast 4, Ifrit Unchained. During the Arid Wastes level of PS4 Shadow of the Beast, you'll see the giant beast, is it Ifrit? Your Ifrit break free from the chains before stalking you in the background. Then the attack comes somewhat counterintuitively. You'll need to punch his fist as they swing towards you. So that was a look at all the beastly bosses from over the years. And I think, is that it? Or have we got another page? No, that is it. So yeah, so that was a look at Shadow the Beast throughout the years. And what I'll do, I'll just quickly flick through the rest of the magazine because, you know, why not? While I've got it open, like, I'll have a little flick through. Right, so we've got Plaque Attack for the Atari 2600. The Ultimate Guide, Turrican. Are those graphics on the C64, I think? And you've got some conversions at the top. You've got the Commodore 64, ZX Spectrum, Amstrad CPC, Amiga ST, Mega Drive, PC Engine and Game Boy. The Amiga is the best version to date, I think. R-Type, classic game. Not a huge fan of it, but it was good. Retro Gamer's Guide to Imagine Software. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. More sort of Retro Gamer's Guide to Imagine Software. Yes, so there's some of the game, the movie. Oh, what a game that was on the Spectrum. Wow. Again, just a very, very weird and dark game. Green Beret. Oh, Mickey. Oh my God, Mickey. What a game. What have we got here? What stands out? Target Renegade. Best version ever on the ZX Spectrum. Renegade 3 was, oh, that was awful. Absolutely a bloody awful. Hardware Heaven. We've got a Mega Wonder RGM2, which is some sort of, I don't know, was it Mega Drive? Joe and Mac, Caveman Ninja, Ultimate Guide. Good game, really good game, really funny game. And then obviously got the different conversions there, Game Boy, NES, SNES, PC, Mega Drive and Amiga, which was the best version ever. Golden Axe, phenomenal game, absolutely phenomenal game. The best version, I think, it wasn't the Amiga, I think, from memory, it was the Mega Drive, was the best version. Yeah, so L9, Level 9's Huge Adventures, Sierra Online. Very good. Really, really good. What have we got here? Look at that. The Cave in the Desert. Wow, what a game that was. Again, another game I have never completed. The Namco Joy-Con. Essential game to play on is Ridge Racer Type 4. Didn't Ridge Racer Type 4 come with the HD version for Ridge Racer 1, I think? Peripheral Vision. Atari Lynx games, there's a quick look at that. California games, as we all know and love. Super Off-Road as well. Never really had a Lynx. Lemmings, whatever version you put Lemmings on, it's going to be, or whatever system, sorry, you put Lemmings on, is the Amiga wins hands down all the time. So, Fighting Vipers 2. And again, the Evercade, which I'm in two minds whether to get one. There is rumour of Amiga games coming out, I think it is. Or was it Commodore 64 games or something? Yeah, it's never really appealed to me, but from what's coming out on these, I've started looking at them going, yeah, I may indulge in getting one. Yeah. What have we got here? The Homebrewers Kit. So this must be sort of homebrew games. I'm not quite sure what that is. Forgive me if you're watching thinking, you know. It's actually amazing what new games actually are coming out now for the likes of Amiga and Spectrum and stuff like that. All decent, dead good homebrew stuff. Collector's Corner. So this is a guy, Alex Crowley, location Oxfordshire. Estimated value of his collection is £40,000 plus. Favourite system SNES, favourite game Defender. He's got a YouTube channel there, the Arcade Archive. That's a little look. I think he looks like he likes his cabinets.
My retro life, creating desperation. Is that like a column or something that used to have in the old magazines? Mailbag, I think, is that people writing in like they used to. And then celebrate the best gaming, retro gaming in 2022. These annuals, I sometimes get these as well. I've got quite a few of these. They're only about a tenner. Really good. Next month on sale, 16th of Feb. The Way of the Exploding Fist. GoMax 2. What have we got here? TurboGrafx 16, Mario Tennis. That's out on the 16th of February 2023. And then the end of the magazine, which is called Endgame, just gives you the thing. I think they sort of pick out something. And so today's one, or this month's one, is The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, which never been a fan of that game. So the only Zelda game that I play is the one that come off the Switch, Breath of the Wild. And then we've got this fucking irritating little... Oh, that fella irritates me. That advert irritates the fuck out of me, honestly. Go, goodbye! That's all he fucking says. That's just... get off. And then we've got the end of the magazine, or the back cover, which is Chill Out Games. Which I'm assuming is... is a shop. It's on Trustpilot, it's got 5 stars. Where gamers collect Chill Out Games /sell. So you got things like Starblade Mega CD 4344, Donkey Kong for the NES £91, £111 for Demolition Man, and Metal Gear Solid for the PS1, yeah, 20 quid.
Right, so that was a little look at January of 2023's subscriber edition of Retro Gamer, and what a bloody cover. Without a doubt, the best cover ever of any magazine, ever. I've got good 01s here, really good covers on them, but this, wowzer. So yeah, you have to excuse me when I sort of read and try and say out loud, my brain just can't process it properly, so it's sometimes a bit, you know, whatever, but you get the sort of general idea. So what's coming up on the channel next? Well, I've got quite a lot of stuff given to me in the last month or so. I've got, where I can find, I did have a laptop given to me, but I don't know where to put it. It's an old, dead old, sort of like 10-year-old laptop with no charger, so at one point I might have to do a video on that. This I have got, which is bloody cool as. Hang on, sorry, there's a cat fighting. I'll be right back. Biggs, out the room now. Leave them alone. You don't want to. Come on, you don't want to fight. Out, downstairs. Oh, bloody cats. Who'd have them? So as I was saying, so I've got, this is in mint condition, this. I've got a Canon PowerShot A400. Thought he was back for a minute there. So I'm going to do a video on that at some point. Fully working, as I say, mint condition. Comes with a carry case, and it come with, where are they? Right, it actually come with a set of batteries, right? So these are Asda. If you're not from the UK, Asda is pretty much like, well, it's Walmart, isn't it? And I just had a look at the date on these batteries, and the expire, I don't know how well this is going to come out on camera. I'll see if I can. It's 2016, I think, anyway. And it came with 2 memory cards. Now, at the time of this camera came out, the memory cards were like, I think it was 256 meg, was it? Yeah. I've had a quick look at it. I've had a quick go at the camera. And the video is going to be quite interesting because I'm going to try and do some sort of vlog or an intro with that camera. Anyway, that can go there for now. I've got also a mate's PS2, which is in need of repair. He said it won't read discs, and I've turned it on last night, and the disc tray, although it's slightly broken there. So I think he's probably been trying to stick his willy or something in the disc tray. It's like he's damaged something, but that will need looking at, because when I pressed it open last night, it only opened a little tiny bit and then stuck. So I'll be looking at this possibly over the next few days. So that's not gifted to me, that was just a fix. Hopefully I can fix it. Also, I was given by the same bloke who gave me the camera this watch. Now he just gave me it because he's quite a generous fella, and he does throw things away, but he knows I like me tech, and he knows I like, you know, stuff like that. That's not going to be a video, that's just sort of like nice to have for nothing really, innit? You know what I mean? Digital watch, full whale time and all that. Very cool indeed. My mate Eric put a battery in it for me yesterday, so that's fully working. What else we got? I was given this as well. Just that on its own, slimline PS3. I'm told it works, and it was actually given to me by the same woman who gave me the laptop, which I cannot find. I don't know where. There it is. Hang on. Anyway, let me finish this one first. So yeah, that's going to be. I don't know. It's not going to be a video, but if it doesn't work, which she assures me it does, and in terms of what I'm going to do with it, I don't know. I might just sell it. I'm not going to lie. I might just sell it because I don't need it, and that money can go on something else. Right. Oh, also, my good friend Eric has gave me. Now this is pretty cool. These have been out for years, and we all know them. Digital picture frames. That is just the size of it. So at some point I'm going to put it in the background and have it exchange pictures and stuff like that. What pictures I'm going to put on, I don't know, but you know. But as you can see in the background there, if you didn't already notice before, we have Shadow the Beast just sort of sitting there, just sort of gracefully, just, you know, what I was saying before about the parallax scrolling. There's a good example of it there. Now if you want me to, I'll put some footage now so you can get a bit of a better look, because you can't really see that. I'm not going to move the camera because I can't be arsed, but I'll put some footage up now that I'm going to record of the parallax scrolling in full effect. Got a cat here, sorry. Binks! Binks! Psst! Binks! Watch this. This cat, right? I rescued him last year. He was a stray basically. He wasn't a feral, he was a stray, and he was near death. And I won't go into a full story on it, but anyway, I trapped him, and Cat Protection said they couldn't rehome him, so I ended up keeping him. But because he's a tomcat, and I've got a tomcat, he's a bit of a bully, so if I'm sort of like up here, I've got to keep my eye on him, because the tomcat is in this room, which is behind you now. Now I'll just try and pick him up and show you. He is an absolute beast of a cat. Full pedigree Turkish van. He is absolutely lovely. Just when he's a pest, he's a bit of a pain, but I'll try and pick him up and I'll try and get him on camera. Hello, Binks. Come on, mate. Hey, would you mate? Hello, Binks. Come on, boy. Come on. There we go. Let's show the viewers who you are. There he is. There's Binks. He doesn't really like getting picked up, and he's probably going to jump or maim me now. He doesn't know what's going on. I'm going, oh, yeah, say hello. Hello. Hello and goodbye. Meow. Go on, mate. And as you can see, look at this. Look at that. Just by picking him up there. I've got half a cow on me. And I think he's molten. He needs a bloody good brush, but yeah. So that's one of my 6 cats. I've got 2 pedigrees, and the rest are just sort of like, well, I've got 3 pedigrees actually. I've got a Siberian one as well, which this is not a cat video, so yeah, ignore me. Sorry, shut up. So where was I? Yeah, laptop, which is it's a Samsung laptop. I think it's got, I'm assuming XP, I don't know. I don't think it's Vista, but that's what it is. And it's nothing special. It's just sort of like, it's got a DVD drive on it, so it's oldish like, but the weird connectors, my one won't fit it, which is supposed to be universal, so it's got like 2 prongs on the inside, if you can just see in there. So at some point I'll see what happens with that, and I'll see what's on it as well. Right, what was I saying then? So I've got the digital picture frame, I've got the PS3, I've done the camera, I've done the watch, PS2. Yeah, a couple more reviews as well. I bought these for my Switch. I might review them, I don't know. Got these as well. Cool as, I love this brand. That is just like JBL. These are sort of earbuds, and I bought them for £20 in B&M stores in the UK. And so I might do a review on them at some point, I don't know, but either way. And I think that's it, to be honest with you. Gaming lately, I've been back, I'm not going to lie, I've been back on Battlefield, so Battlefield 4, Battlefield 3. I've been revisiting sort of like the maps I used to play back in the day, as you know, when we were all sort of playing as a whole, me and a couple of ex-mates like. Switch as well, I have got GoldenEye on the Switch, which I'm playing, and a couple of other games. Still at the retro scene, it's just, I've got quite a lot going on at the moment, so I'm just trying to, you know, sort of make time for everything sort of thing. So, but I seen this magazine, and I thought I'll do a little sort of video on it, why not, you know what I mean? So, but anyway, as always folks, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Nice shooting, son. What's your name?
Chewie.